Hello again, I'm Findish with the Dimension Touring Company. Welcome to the From the Ground Up video building series, episode 6. As you can see, there's been some changes since the last time we were here. I decided that I just really didn't like all that high-loft stuff, and I ripped it all out. And I replaced it with something much more to my taste. I left the evergreen shrubs. Now we're layered with cherry trees, low-leaf trees, red tentacle brevine trees, and large crown saplings blown up to max size and pushed into the ground. And the number one reason why I changed it was because when I came around this corner here, you couldn't see the house. The whole view of the house was obstructed by all those tall high-loft trees in the way. This at least allows us at least some peeks of what we're about to see, and that's what we want for our visitors. Not only that, but now this little fountain back here has a much more prominent place. It's not being overwhelmed by all the pink trees. And that's the same thing that goes for this house. It was really being overwhelmed by all the landscaping that was around it, when the landscaping should be your frame, not the main piece. I did make this little doohickey here, and this is nothing more than 2 guardian ward stones, one right side up, one upside down, blended until the faces mostly match up at the eyes, with a couple of the what are those rocks called? Tube-worm cluster rocks. Yes, put on top, and some drip lines added. Just a very small, simple little fountain that you can make. And a lot of times we'll be getting these ward stones back from minions a lot. I like them a lot, and it doesn't matter if it's the neutral, the defiant, or the guardian, although I find that I do like the guardian a little bit more than the others. I call these my old ladies, even though I don't know if they're old ladies or old men, but I like those just as a general purpose thing because they make nice little statues if you can hide the rest of the body. And as you can see when we come inside, there's been some more changes in here. We finished out the windows. In this round window, you make the exact same way that you would an arch. You know, with the 15-degree increments, and just adjust with each block. And it's 24 pieces exactly to make a circle like this. If I get any requests for it, of course I'm more than happy to load this template up on Dimension Addicts, so then you can have your own template for a circle. And you can use that, pull it apart, and figure out how to make it in different sizes. This window was already done. This window was already done. No, none of these windows were done when we left the other night. I've been working ahead. I think I worked too far ahead of myself here. But all the windows are made off the same principle that we did with these door frames yesterday. I went in and I cleaned up this doorway here. I took out the stone that made up this arch and went with granite, and I took out the wood planks and replaced those with granite as well. I like granite for the texture as opposed to regular stone, even though I actually still like the plain stone that can be crafted by armor smiths. On this shard, however, I am not an armor smith, so right now the granite is actually cheaper than going with the crafted building blocks. I've started placing some items here and there, given the illusion of doors that go up, so you can click the thing. The handle, nothing more than a silver stein. And I've also created this hearth. We'll get back to that later. I've got a few things here in the kitchen. This is going to be one part of the pipes to the stove. This door, as you can see, there's a gray glove because the other door is upstairs, leading us back down. So this hearth, let's talk about this. It's a pretty simple fireplace going on here. I found some of these Storm Legion wall segments sitting in Take a Penny, Leave a Penny on Zaviel. And I really like these. I like them because of the texture, I like them because of the colors, and they're just an all-around interesting item. I added a wall post, a Storm Legion wall post. So that way we give a feeling of completion to that. It's backed with a flagstone tile facade, and the main part of the fireplace itself is constructed from ridged gravestones, more facades, 2 centaur cage doors, flipped around so that they're end to end, a burning fireplace, and to add a little bit of feel to it, a double volcanic vent, which is on the shop under landscaping, or you can get them in your minion returns for free. And that's a fireplace is very large in minimum amount of items. Now let's see how much of that fireplace is poking through our wall here. And this was another reason to change the landscaping. This was so clogged up with trees and junk that you couldn't even walk back here. Now the only thing that would impede anybody is going to be this one glow leaf tree right here, because of the way that the collision works. It's kind of like the sword on a chain, where you run and then you'll get stuck, and you won't know what you're stuck on, but you're actually, like here, you're stuck on that tree. So though on the back side, we've got a little bit of a grate here, and then something to kind of make it look like there's not a chimney per se, but something sticking out from the back of the house so that the smoke can vent out the back. And I went with the white smoke effect from Dream Weaving and not another volcanic vent, because the smoke from Dream Weaving is a lot easier to hide. And this way, by lowering all of the landscaping, I can see the windows from the outside now. I can traverse it, which is the most important part. I can actually get back there. And it just looks a lot cleaner. We want the main view of the landscaping to be from the inside of the house, but we also want to be able to run around the outside too, because we're going to need to see what's poking out. There's not a lot of give in this structure. There's no false floor. The floor is one thickness. And speaking of floors, I've removed the limestone in here and replaced it with wood beam. Just because this much white with nothing to break it up, it makes things really bland, really kind of dull. And then, so replace the floor with wood, so that way, when we start replacing these interior walls, and we will replace these interior walls because I don't like my inside to be the same color as my outside, because that's just, your real house doesn't have the outside as the same color as the inside. And I've added some lights so that I can see what I'm doing while I'm in here working. So let's go upstairs. I've got a few more items up here. Made this window here uniform, got rid of the green wood and replaced it with plain wood. And now, without the trees out there, we've got a really good view of the whole front yard. Especially that fountain in the corner really stands out and really looks gorgeous from up here. Come over here, there's another nice view out this window. Again, I've got a few more items here and there. You can see that this bed marks it as being one of the bedrooms. This actually is the main bedroom. We'll be spending quite a bit of time in here later on. I have not put up doors in here. A little spare bedroom. A guest room, doubtfully a kid's room. My kids are grown, so I tend to not make little kids' rooms anymore. A small bathroom here. And we have a long corridor. And there's a room for a doorway right here that will take us back downstairs. And then we can do a closet or something over here. As you can see, I've put a layer of gray wood over the limestone ceiling downstairs. This is just like 1,000th on top of the limestone. So there's no slack, there's no room for false walls, there's no room for pretty much anything in here. And then once we start replacing a lot of this interior limestone with other materials, we'll find a whole bunch of material extras that we can pull out to start saving us off the item count. I've pulled out a couple pieces so far, but not most of it. And I already can tell that either the light in here is going to need to change, or this gray wood is going to need to change, because I do not like the way that this gray wood looks under this large cool light. I typically like warmer colors anyways, and the gray wood really shines with orange lights and any warm light. So now we're back downstairs and we're in the kitchen. See, as you can see, I put a couple of extra walls up to square some of the areas coming off these towers. Now, we didn't, with that wall being in place, we didn't need this wall right here that made up part of the tower, but we do need it up there because that we can see that part. And we may not, well, we do need that one because that's part of the main wall, so I can't pull that one out. Now all I did to make this wall was copy this piece right here, shift it over, and then raise it up. As you can see, there's a considerable portion of this wall that's underground, so we didn't have to take a second piece for the underside of this wall. And it did the same thing over here. And one piece isn't very much from either side, but it will definitely start to add up. Okay, so let's go back upstairs so we can get these entryways here done. Now thankfully, with these being planks for the most part, or rectangles that are not at full size, we have a little bit of room here as far as what we'll be able to do with the doorways. We can go a lot smaller than we did on the big windows and on the blocks downstairs. So let's bring up toolbox, and we're going to use a set. I don't want that set because that's only the cubes. I'm looking for the cubes and the planks. Alright, so we're going to go with one of the sets and then fix it with some planks. And this set takes 13 wood cubes. I really needed to clean out my toolbox. Usually I keep the bulk of my sets, all my templates and stuff, on my desktop in a folder, so that way they're not clogging up my drop down since we can't search it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. And since we've already gone over how to actually make an arch, we're not going to do it again for the rest of this series. Alright, let's see where it went. And of course it's sideways. So we're going to bring it over here to this wall. And use that to help us line it up, rather than making the whole thing again, because we only need one arch going this way and the other two are actually going the correct direction. The other three, as we're going to make 3 of these. And I could save a lot of items by using the pre-made pieces. I like making my own pieces just for the distinction it adds. If I'm really trying to save some item limit, I'll cut out these arches and we'll go with the pre-made doorways. But unless we absolutely have to, I would really rather go with, I call it morphed doorways. A lot of people don't think that structures are morphing. I think there's a lot of things that actually fall under the categories of morphing. And we can raise that up, and it's still not big enough. So we'll pull that on out and see what else we can find. Alright, so I found a set, which means I just made one. I'm going to bring it over here and load it. Made 2 of them because I had to have one go in the opposite way. Now this one is just a little bit too big, but the other one was much too small. So in this instance, too big is much easier to work with. Because we can come over here and not really shift that out of the way. But what we can do is make a partial arch by pulling out these 6 bottom pieces, just pulling those up. So now we've got part of an entryway. And then shape planks in for the rest. Oop, need to take that out. And we'll leave that in. As that offset there, it's going to eliminate flicker. Oop, that toolbox bug. And we can only go just to the floor because we don't have that false floor beneath us. So it's got to be pretty much, that's really going to limit us on the morphing. There's a reason why I like all my stuff being on the ground level, because then you've got a whole lot more room of what you can do. Paste and then move it back. Sometimes when I'm building, I don't make sets as I go. I might make them later. If I remember something that I might need, then rather than making it all over again, it can be, oh, I've got that in this dimension or whatever dimension it's in, and I'll just go make a new one or go copy it from there instead of making a new one. Looks like I had planned 6 to 10 episodes for this, and it looks like we will very likely go to all 10. And as you can see, I've really got some flicker going on these sides. I don't worry about it too much because we're going to hide that. Get rid of that 90 in the yaw. And then take a plank of the same size and put it in position. On this one, we are going to offset an X as well. Still see that flicker. So we're going to do just a relative adjustment on all of these planks here, all these sets of planks. Now we want to line this up so that we're mostly even with that. Minimal seams. Copy. Paste. And move it over. Copy. Paste. And move it down. And so there's that entryway right there. And then what I did not want to do was what I just did, which was to remove the set that we just loaded. It's one of those days. So now, let's find the other set. Alright, found my set. So we're going to drop down 13 more cubes. Basically what we just did on that one wall, on that one doorway, we're going to do 3 more times. Go in the other direction. As you can see, loading it here in our bathroom caused some problems due to wall thicknesses. Really kind of threw things off just a little bit. Let's see if we can do this without having to add any more planks. No. I don't really like to add pieces if we don't have to. Just because I'd rather see those items go to something else. Then a bunch of stuff that we gotta line up. It looks like. And we're still, looks like, gonna have to add some triangles to cover up its corners. As you can see, I had to shrink everything quite a bit to get it to fit here and still be wide enough to go on both sides of the wall here. Okay, so we're going to patch these with some triangles. It's a good thing that Minions have been bringing everybody back plenty of these. Oh, we want 90 and 90. We'll put it left right like this. Minus 90 in the pitch and 90 in the roll. We'll turn it upside down and make it just slide right in there. Do a copy and paste. And then normally when you do rounded entries, you will have to use a patch, a triangle or something. And I'm actually glad that we got triangles for this very reason. This used to be, we tried to have to work cubes and whatnot into there to try to get those to fit. Alright, so now we can repeat the process with our planks, which are now going to be too long. So what we can do make it just right so we don't have to bring in a whole bunch more pieces. Let's raise that up. Pull those two off. Bring this over. Now, luckily with rectangles, we've got a wee bit of free space. Let's see how much longer that's going to be if we size it to fit. Let me get a light, because I cannot see what I'm doing. There we go. Now we can see. Just going to size it up. Actually, what size is that? That's odd. Quite sure why this one has to be. Oh, what I'm pretty certain is we're going to see when we go downstairs that we're going to have a big chunk of plank sticking through the floor. So let's go downstairs and check it out. Huh? No, we got lucky. Good, 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 good. So now we go back upstairs. And fix this door. Alright, so we got the doorway fixed. And it's pretty painful. The way this one works, it is too wide for what we had, and but otherwise too narrow to span the wall. So we had to shrink this down and then add a second one down at the bottom because shrinking it down caused a gap. Shrink this one down and then add, well, by rights we should add another. Well, we don't need to add another plank. And then add triangles at each one of these corners to patch these gaps left by this wall. And this other wall coming to the extra bedroom is going to be the exact same way, because it is sized exactly the same as this wall right over here. So I'm going to go ahead and finish out these walls, or these doors here, and clean up these walls, and then when the next time we'll be able to start the inside, we'll do interior morphing, and we'll reskin these walls on the inside so that they look so that they have a different look than the outside, and then try to make each room distinct in its own way as well. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.